Hi, good morning. This is Passent, and I'm raising awareness about a very rare kind of lymphoma, cutaneous T cell lymphoma, that I've been diagnosed with 10 years ago and ended up by stem cell transplantation in October 2018. I've posted videos about the diagnosis, the treatments, and do's and don'ts. And today I'm going to speak about a very sensitive subject, which is the patient-caregiver relationship. So when we speak about the patient-caregivers relationship, it's a very sensitive issue. And if you are diagnosed with cutaneous T cell lymphoma, then you need to realize that it's a chronic disease, and it's not something that you will have for few months or even few years and then it will be cured. No, this will not happen. It's a status that you will be in for a long time, and you need to accommodate your lifestyle towards it, including your caregivers. So in order not to burn out your caregiver for nothing, because at the early stages, usually the cutaneous T cell lymphoma patients are physically totally up to it. So they can work and they can do the usual house responsibilities. Once the lymphoma goes into further stages, maybe this will be limited, but usually if you are going through cutaneous T cell lymphoma and you are in the early stages, don't burn out your caregivers. I will give you some tips and I hope it works. Usually the caregiver is your partner. And when I say that he is a caregiver or she is a caregiver, that's because they are the one who can hear our worries. And this is the least that they can do. Hearing our worries for so many years might reflect on them that they will be emotionally stressed and they will maybe suffer from panic attacks, losing interest in what they usually love to do because of the worries that we are reflecting on them. How can you keep an eye on your caregiver and try not to burn them very early? The first thing to do is that give them their own space and don't complain and keeping on reminding them that you are sick. As long as you can accommodate your sickness and you can run the show around yourself, don't mention it all the time. Just keep it to the serious situation when it comes, and it might not come at all. The other thing is that you need to have a bigger circle of caregivers, and this bigger circle may be friends, relatives, parents, and they can substitute your caregiver, your main caregiver, when it is needed. Outsource if it is possible for you and affordable. Outsource some services at home that can relieve the stress a little bit from you and from your own caregivers. An important thing that I would like to mention that if the lymphoma deviated from being mild, as it happened to me in late 2016, when it became a total disability, I was totally disabled with, I can say that my quality of life decreased from being 90%, let's say, and 10% was going to the lymphoma thing. It went into like a totally decrease to maybe 10 to 5%. I was totally disabled because I lost 80% of my skin to the disease, and I couldn't bend because I couldn't stand the friction between clothes and my skin, of course. It was very tough period, and at that time I created a passion in cooking. Why? Because it was the only activity that I can do standing up using my both hands without having as much friction as you can have when you're doing other things, like maybe doing the laundry. You need to bend, and I was trying to do something and to keep myself busy and to create passion in something that my family will benefit from, and they will feel happy. And I realized that cooking would make them very happy. And I was always happy when they come late in the evening with having a family dinner with a nice dish that I really did with passion and with love, and I wanted to tell them that I loved them, and they would say, "Oh, mommy, this is very nice, and it tastes great." I would feel really, really grateful, and I would feel great. So you can still do things that will relieve the pressure from your caregivers. The bigger circle, and this is an issue that it totally differs being from the east to the west. In the Eastern culture, the caregiver and the patient should be exposed at any time, and people would love to visit early mornings, maybe late evenings, and everybody is offering help. But in the West, where they have another culture that says, close the door, they need their own privacy, and leave the caregiver and the patient alone. Actually, I feel that both ways are a little bit extremes, if I can say, because of course the caregiver and the patient, they need their own privacy at certain times. For me, for instance, when I was doing the stem cell transplantation, there was few days that I accepted to see people, and visitors were welcomed, and there was other days, especially when I came back home, that I couldn't see anyone for a couple of weeks. It was tiring. I was vomiting all the time, and I really was physically fatigued and irritated by noise, so I couldn't handle people around me. If you have close family friends, please let them help you, and let them substitute the caregiver, so that you don't burn out your caregiver so easily and quickly. So at the end of this video, I would like to say thank you for everyone who is taking care of an elderly or a patient in his family. You are doing a great, priceless job, and we can't thank you enough. It's our destiny to be together in this trip, in this journey. But thank you so much. We can't say more than that. See you. Bye.